All right. Good afternoon, advisors. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I'm going to kind of talk a little slow to let some more of your colleagues get in here, but we have quite a few of you guys that have already showed up. So thank you so much for being on time. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kay Milliner Kitchens. I am the Director of Sales for the U.S. Virgin Islands Department of Tourism. And today we're going to be featuring one of our most valued hotel partners on the beautiful island of St. Croix, Sand Castle on the Beach. The two owners of the property you see there with us, Chris Richardson and Ted Bidwell. So I'll let you guys say your hellos.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We're honored
I'm
to
so
have you
glad.
here.
I'm so glad you guys can join us because Sandcastle is such a beautiful property, and I get so many people asking about your property. So a lot of people have registered. So I'm excited to share with them all the new things going on, not only in the USVI, but with Sandcastle on the beach. So we have a few more folks popping in. So I'm going to kind of still slow a little bit to make sure everybody gets in so everybody can catch the full webinar, but we are recording. So no worries if any of you guys want to do a playback for this later, share it with your clients or other people in your office. You will have this recording available at the end of the day. Hopefully everything will download and I'll send it out to you guys at the end of the day. Also, if you have questions about anything that you see here, because at the end of our presentation, we'll be doing a Q&A. So please feel free to go ahead and post your questions in the chat or in the Q&A section as well. Yes, you are muted, Mary Ellen. We will not hear your dogs, so you're good. So just put your questions in the chat, just like Mary Ellen just did, and we'll try to get to them as we go through the presentation and answer as many, hopefully all of the questions as we get to the end of things. So I'm glad everybody is seeing how to use that chat. And it looks like we have people from all over the United States. So Oklahoma, wow, San Antonio, Nashville. Aren't you guys from Nashville?
Oh, we did. We moved here from Nashville. Hey, y'all.
So hopefully when we get to that part, you can tell everyone your story of how you got to Sandcastle, because
We
it
would
is
love
very
that.
interesting, very interesting. Okay, so we've got a good group and we're going to go ahead and start. So thank you guys again for joining us for our webinar, U.S. Virgin Islands and Sandcastle on the Beach. To start things off, just want to share with you guys some new things that we're doing in the U.S. Virgin Islands with regard to how we promote the destination. We've got a fun new tagline for the U.S. Virgin Islands, and I'm going to share it with you really quickly right here.
Our heartbeat is the rhythm of life, and nowhere else is it felt quite like here. You can sense it in the tempo of the tides and breezes, and in the artistic expressions of our people. For ours are no ordinary Caribbean islands, and yours no ordinary Caribbean vacation in the U.S. Virgin Islands, naturally in rhythm.
So I'm hoping that from just looking at that piece, you can kind of get the feeling that from the time your clients arrive in the U.S. Virgin Islands, they're going to get naturally in rhythm with the groove, the culture, the people, everything about the U.S. Virgin Islands that makes it just a top destination in the Caribbean. So it really is an absolutely wonderful place to send your clients for them to have a stellar vacation experience. So for those of you who aren't as familiar with the U.S. Virgin Islands, let me just take it back a little bit. As you can see, we're very, very close to the mainland. We're comprised of three primary islands in the U.S. Virgin Islands: St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John. But then there's also Water Island, which is affectionately known as the fourth U.S. Virgin Island. If you plan a 5 to 7 night stay for your clients, it's very feasible for them to see all 4 U.S. Virgin Islands on their vacation. So just bear that in mind. There's a whole lot they can do if they want to do a whole lot when they're in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So St. Thomas, this is probably the most well-known of the 3 U.S. Virgin Islands. It's home to the capital, Charlotte Amalia. It's very close in proximity to St. John, as you can see from this map. Only 15 minutes apart on the ferry. The ferry is about $8.20 cents each way. So it's very easy and affordable to get back and forth between those two islands. As you can see, St. Croix is a little further away, about 40 miles or so south of those two islands, but seaplane service is a great option to get between St. Thomas and St. Croix. That's only about a 20-minute flight. Beautiful, beautiful scenic sites from takeoff and landing going between St. Thomas and St. Croix. And the seaplane is a big part of the vacation experience. I mean, it's an adventure. It's definitely something you can check off the bucket list. But there's also a ferry that's available between St. Thomas and St. Croix as well, if that's more your speed. But each island really does offer something very unique and different. And we're going to get into how each one of these islands is different from the other. One of the things that really, really endeared the destination to a lot of travelers, especially over the pandemic, is how convenient it is to get to us, because U.S. citizens do not need a passport to travel to the U.S. Virgin Islands. We're only 2.5 hours from Miami, 3.5 hours from Atlanta and JFK. So it makes getting to the USVI very, very easy from the mainland. In terms of nonstop service out of several gateways, we've got quite a bit to offer there as well. From Atlanta, Charlotte, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, all have service nonstop into St. Croix. And of course, you can connect through Puerto Rico to get to St. Croix as well. St. Thomas has a few more options available and a lot of great seasonal service. So you have Chicago, Minneapolis, Houston and Dallas, a lot of different options to get your clients down into the U.S. Virgin Islands. So if you're wondering, well, what about St. John? There's no air service into St. John? No, because there's no airport. It's the smallest of the 3 U.S. Virgin Islands. It's only 19 square miles. 2/3 of it is a national park. So if your clients are booked at any of our properties in St. John, they will have to fly into St. Thomas and then ferry over to that island. Getting married is also very easy to do in the U.S. Virgin Islands, along with the fact that none of your guests will need a passport if they're U.S. citizens. There is also no waiting period or residency requirements to get married in the U.S. Virgin Islands. You just fill out your paperwork ahead of your travel. It takes about 8 days for your paperwork to work through the court system. Once you get your marriage license back, you can get married the very same day you arrive in the U.S. Virgin Islands. We oftentimes have a lot of cruise ship passengers who will get married once they arrive in the USVI, because it's just that easy to do. So bear that in mind if you have clients who are looking for a Caribbean spot for their destination wedding. So I mentioned earlier, we're going to look at how each island is very different from the other. So let's start with St. Thomas. I mentioned earlier, she is home to the capital of the U.S. Virgin Islands, Charlotte Amalia, and she has a lot going on. So let's take a look.
St. Thomas is known for many things. Its picturesque harbor, duty-free shopping, and exciting adventures, from wildlife encounters to beautiful vistas. This bustling, cosmopolitan island is filled with wonder. Experience it all in the next 60 seconds.
Kick off your visit with a stroll around Emancipation Garden, and then take a sky ride up to Paradise Point for the best view of Charlotte Amalia Harbor. While you're up there, enjoy the USVI's original cocktail, the Bushwhacker. See what's blooming over at the Botanical Garden. Now on to see what's cooking in the streets. Freco, pate, Johnny cakes. These authentic island eats are some of St. Thomas's best treats. Take a walk through history and discover hidden treasures of the deep blue sea. Or walk on the sand floors of one of the oldest synagogues in the world. Stroll down the breathtaking Megan's Bay Beach, or dare to take on some excitement, like swimming with dolphins in this dolphin sea sanctuary. Soar in the sky with a helicopter ride for a bird's eye view of this stunning island. Enjoy this hilltop view while sipping a classic Cruzan rum cocktail with some locally caught seafood. It's no surprise that people call this tropical wonderland a top destination in the Caribbean.
So you can see just from that short video, she's got quite a bit going on the island of St. Thomas. And it's really the island where you're going to find your highest concentration of shopping, hotel rooms, nightlife, dining. It's just a lot going on. But in addition to that, you still have beautiful beaches. We have over 47 on St. Thomas alone. You're also going to find great history and culture on the island as well. And we'll get into our big cultural celebration that's coming up next month on St. Thomas. So quite a bit to do on that island if you have clients who like to always be on the go and busy doing stuff. One of the things I always like to point out when it comes to St. Thomas, but really all three of the U.S. Virgin Islands, is our stellar cuisine. We have some of the best dining in the Caribbean, if I do say so myself. So a big part of your vacation experience is going to be the culinary piece. So you're there in the Caribbean, you have the opportunity to dine on fresh caught local fish every day if you want to. Great farm to table options because we've got tons of local farmers who provide food, spices to all of our local restaurants. So this is really something that you really want to impress upon your clients that you're not going to want to miss out on. Fresh local lobster. Oh, lobsters. And then great locally infused fruits to spice up a lot of your libations that you'll be having on island as well. So, it's one thing to have a margarita, it's another thing to have a passion fruit margarita. So, all of these things are really good options that you really want to take in because you will leave the destination remembering all of these great meals that you had. So just bear that in mind when you're talking about the USVI to your clients. So we're going to just travel 15 minutes over to the island of St. John. She is the smallest of the 3 U.S. Virgin Islands, maybe quite arguably the most stunning, but there's quite a bit to do on that island as well. So let's take a look.
Although it's the smallest of the U.S. Virgin Islands, St. John is big in its natural beauty. So much so that Lawrence Rockefeller found it necessary to protect the island's lush forest, cultural artifacts, and amazing beaches. Witness it all in the next 60 seconds.
Many people escape to St. John to witness the colorful scenery, explore its beauty, and relax. Their waterfront cottages and hillside villas offer pure tranquility, along with some of the best restaurants in Croix Bay, creating a very distinct food scene. Tuck your toes in the dazzling white sand of these spectacular beaches and delve into the secret underworld to discover hidden sea creatures. Take a stroll around the world-famous Mongoose Junction and explore their quaint galleries and shops offering everything from cool art, clothing, and yummy desserts. A premier place for nature lovers, St. John is the perfect haven for an outdoor adventure through these subtropic forests and steep slopes. Hit the beach for some games and live music, then onto the local bars for some nightlife fun. Now let's get going. The Love City awaits you.
So even though she's the smallest, there's a lot going on that island that you can really get into. But probably the number one attraction of St. John is going to be the national park. Because it's 2/3 a park, we have about, I believe it's 27 trails all through the park that you can hike. A lot of people nature lovers are drawn to the island for the park. Close second, if not really a cold number one, the beaches. What a lot of people also don't realize is that the beaches that are in the park are also protected. So the beaches on St. John are going to be some of the most stunning beaches, beautiful, pristine, that you'll see in the entire world. So if your clients are beach bums, they're nature lovers, they want to just get out and just enjoy the beauty of the Caribbean, St. John is a definite must. I was actually just speaking with an agent yesterday who has clients who want to go hiking, but they want a villa experience, but they don't want to be far from everything. I'm like, oh, St. John is perfect because it's such a small island. You can have that villa experience, still do the hiking, the snorkeling, and be close to town and enjoy all of the great restaurants and the dining options and everything. So just keep that in mind when your clients are looking for something even as specific as what that agent was looking for, because the first thing that came to mind to her was St. John. So now we're going to get to the Big Island, St. Croix. She has a lot going on. We often refer to St. Croix as our cultural bearer because you really can see our culture. It's like a living museum situation up close and personal on the island of St. Croix. So let's take a look.
When flying into St. Croix, be sure to grab a window seat. If there's one color that defines the Caribbean, it's blue. And the blue of St. Croix is simply incomparable. From pristine beaches to historic gems preserved for decades. But don't be fooled. There's plenty more to see and do on this island than just the beach. Experience it all in the next 60 seconds.
Here on this U.S. Virgin Island, one of the best places to rise with the sun is at Point Udall, not too far from some of St. Croix's most unique and scenic hotels. Start your day off with an adventurous ride to witness breathtaking scenery, and then head to the famous Buck Island to enjoy this crystal blue sea. Now this is island life. But what would island life be without food? While here on St. Croix, stop by the farmer's market for some fresh produce and be sure to swing by Cast Iron Pot or Lorraine's Chicken Shack and eat your heart out. From fine dining to local Caribbean desserts, if it's one thing St. Croix has plenty of, it's certainly authentic Caribbean cuisine. Spend the rest of your afternoon getting your history fix at Fort Christian Vern, or watching special performances by local quadrille dancers or the Moco Jumpies. And kick off the perfect island night watching the sunset with a special craft cocktail from some of the island's best bars and lounges. So, what are you waiting for? It's time to take on St. Croix and feel a vibe like no other.
So again, with this island, and I hope you caught it in the beginning, the beautiful forts that are standing in St. Croix. Like I said, just living museum type of an experience when you're there. We have two major forts in St. Croix, Fort Christiansburg and Fort Frederick. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful structures. Our sugar mill ruins that are still standing. St. Croix has the largest number of them still standing in pretty decent shape in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So these are things that are just out and about that you can explore and experience while you're in St. Croix. Perhaps my favorite place in the whole wide world is Buck Island. It's an underwater U.S. national monument. It's just off the coast of St. Croix. The snorkeling is phenomenal out at Buck Island. It's like you're looking through an aquarium glass. It's really quite stunning. And at the beginning of this year, for my history and cultural buff, St. Croix was just named a National Heritage Site, the entire island. So, and it just speaks to all of the wonders and the beauties that there are to explore on that island and the contributions of those things to the United States. So if you have clients who really like to kind of immerse themselves in history and culture, St. Croix is a great, great island to suggest to them. Didn't mention that there's also a rainforest in St. Croix. I don't think that video mentioned it as well. And you can take tours of the rainforest that take you out to the tide pools, so you can have that beautiful experience as well. And one of my favorite off the beaten path things to do on St. Croix, especially when you're doing the rainforest tour, is to go feed the beer drinking pigs. This is a fun little excursion to do. Chris and Ted, I'm sure you guys have gone out and visited
yes.
drinking pigs, but it's different. It is different. So, you know, it's definitely something that you don't think you'll find. So it's a welcome surprise when you're in St. Croix and exploring. Diving, if you have clients who are divers, diving is great on all three of the U.S. Virgin Islands, but perhaps St. Croix is best known for its diving. There's dozens of dive sites all along the north shore of that island. Then you have opportunities to do wrecks, walls, reefs, pier diving, night diving. So you have a lot of different opportunities to get a lot of varied dives in when you're in St. Croix. So I mentioned earlier, I want to kind of share with you the big cultural immersion that's coming up on St. Thomas next month. It is Carnival coming up. We have April is our month every year for Carnival in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and it happens on the island of St. Thomas. And we like to say we have 3 reasons to fet in the USVI, because while we have Carnival, we also have the St. John celebration, which is over the 4th of July. And then we also have the Crucian Christmas Festival, which is December into January. So we have 3 different opportunities and 3 different reasons to fet in the USVI. So if you're not familiar with Carnival, or maybe not familiar with what fetting is, let's take a look so you can kind of get a more in-depth idea of what your clients will experience.
To the
during
United
Carnival.
States Virgin Islands Division of Festivals, My Reason to Fet. An in-depth look of one of the most celebrated events of the year. Carnival. At Carnival, we fet. And for those of you who do not know what a fet is a celebration, party, or festival. And in the Virgin Islands, we have 3. St. Thomas Carnival in April, the St. John 4th of July celebration, and the Crucian Christmas Festival in December. Good music, great food, and culture are the hallmarks of a good fet. And this will be your how-to guide on how to fet. In this episode, we will take a dive into St. Thomas Carnival and why after over 70 years, the excitement, passion, and energy from locals and tourists have yet to slow down.
I absolutely love Carnival, festivals, all of it. I mean, I can barely remember a day of my life without fetting in some kind of way. I truly believe fetting is a way of life.
Carnival in St. Thomas VI is an amazing experience. It's a time of year where we get to celebrate our culture, our music, our heritage, our freedom, our emancipation, everything as Caribbean people, especially from the Virgin Islands. It is one unique celebration that everybody in the entire world has to experience at least one time in your life.
First, I start off as a reveler like everybody else, you know what I mean? Just come in as a young child, experiencing Carnival for the first time, and you know, just fall in love with it from there. My parents had loved it, my grandparents had loved it, which is, you know, a very unique thing, especially at that time, for people of different generations to like the same thing. And I feel like that's part of why Carnival is what it is, you know what I mean? Going to Carnival is like going to a living museum. And you know, to see how it has evolved but still stayed the same is kind of cool.
Carnival is deeply rooted within me. My parents are big Carnival people, and so I can think back to age 4, sitting in Post Office Square, watching the parades, getting the opportunity to become a majorette and what that really felt like, and you know, show our stuff going down in the beautiful outfits and costumes. And Carnival is just culture and color, and it's just so deeply rooted within me. I mean, I think my parents took me to my first Juve when I was 12. And they were like, all right, see ya.
Carnival is, well, overall, it's the most amazing time of the year in the Virgin Islands. And the reason why I say that is, it's just like that. To me, it's more family time than Thanksgiving, or Christmas, or Easter. Carnival is that time, you're gonna go to the children village, you're gonna go to this event, you can go to that event, but even in the children village, it's nothing but smiles. And you know, kids, innocent, they just wanna have fun. And they're gonna have the time of their life in the children village. So with that happening, I mean, this is the best. Always, fathers take the kids, you know, mothers take the kids, grandmothers out. Grandmother might not be able to run around behind them, but you know, that's just the best time. And you get the candy apples, you got all the food that you don't get all year round. You only get this one time a year. So it just make it special. When Carnival comes, it feels in the air, man. It's all in the air, just Carnival.
One of the things I love about Carnival in the US Virgin Islands is that, you know, for a good solid month, it is just so many people coming together, from children to youth groups to everybody, putting on just these fantastic presentations. You have Quilbe, you have Moko Jumbis, you have Panorama. I mean, it's all the time. It's beautiful.
So hopefully that kind of gave you an idea of what your clients would experience when they come down for not just Carnival, but for the 4th of July or for the Crucian Christmas Festival. It is a very, very, very cultural experience. So I saw some comments in the chat about dates and things that are going on. So if you want to screenshot this, but again, I will be sending this presentation out. These are the dates and different events that are going to be going on in St. Thomas. So if you're going to be on island, or if you have clients who are going to be on island, even if they're just stopping in on a cruise, there's there may be something going on where they may be able to get some of that good culture and absorb some of that fun stuff in. And yes, somebody did mention the St. Patty's Day parade coming up in St. Croix. So we're always looking for a reason to fet. So there's always something fun to do in the U.S. Virgin Islands. But the St. Patty's Day parade is a big one on the island of St. Croix. So I just want to go through some of our hotel product because I'm always asked about hotels in the USVI. Now, this list is not everyone, but this is a pretty good overview of some of the properties that we offer. And then we're going to get an in-depth talk with Sandcastle in just a few minutes. So just to go through really quickly, if you're looking for a high-end hotel, a resort for your clients, the most high-end in the USVI would be the Ritz-Carlton St. Thomas. I'm going a little too fast. I'm sorry. The Ritz-Carlton St. Thomas, they just finished a major $150 million renovation at this property, all the rooms. They've added an additional pool. Their kids club is open. I get questions about kids clubs a lot. So if you have clients who need that, that is there and available for them at the Ritz-Carlton. Margaritaville is also in St. Thomas on the east end of the island, very close to Red Hook. So that's one of the places where you can hop the ferry over to St. John. Also close to Coral World, where you can get that dolphin experience that we saw earlier. So that's also a great option for a lot of your clients. The Buccaneer is located on the island of St. Croix. Sits on 340 acres. You have 3 beaches, a pool, golf. We have 2 18-hole championship golf courses in St. Croix, and one of them is at the Buccaneer. The Dibby Carina Bay Resort and Casino. So the Dibby is going to be your only all-inclusive option on St. Croix. It is also adults only and has a full-service casino on the property. So if all of those things check off the boxes for your clients, then you might want to look at the Dibby. But again, what did I say about the dining in the U.S. Virgin Islands? You're not going to want to miss out on that piece. So just bear that in mind. The Westin St. John, beautiful property, also just finished a major multi-million-dollar renovation right before the pandemic. But please be aware that this is a timeshare property. They have some hotel inventory available, but it can be challenging to get your clients into this property, and that's why, because it is primarily a timeshare. The Carambola Beach Resort, also located on the island of St. Croix. You see it's kind of nestled in there through all the greenery. It's actually at the edge of the rainforest. So it's a great property if you really kind of want to disconnect and get away from it all. Great dive shop on property as well. You can do some dives right off property. But it's a great property that's actually in the midst of going through some renovations right now as well. The Frenchman's Reef, this is in St. Thomas. Most of you probably are familiar with the Frenchman's Reef. They have not reopened yet, but we're looking at a reopen this year. I do believe from an earlier webinar that they are looking to start taking bookings mid-May. So if you have clients who are interested in St. Thomas, I believe you should see it in your GDS now, but they will be with several wholesalers as well. So just mark your calendar that May would be a good time to revisit Frenchman's Reef. Secret Harbor, also on St. Thomas, on the east end as well, close to Red Hook. Lots of dining in Red Hook. So if you're looking to kind of be close to where a lot of the action is, Red Hook is a great spot to be for your clients to get back and forth, to get great dining, to the ferry, and kind of mix it up with locals and tourists alike. Belongo Bay is going to be your only all-inclusive option on St. Thomas. So just to recap, we have Dibby in St. Croix and Belongo in St. Thomas. So those are your 2 all-inclusive options in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Very laid-back property, very casual, shorts and t-shirt kind of vibe to it. Beautiful beach. They have a catamaran available for day sales as well. So just bear that in mind for all-inclusives in St. Thomas. The Hideaway Hull Bay is a new one on St. Thomas. Great for a buyout. If you're doing a family reunion or a corporate retreat, only I think about 31 units here. They have cottages and villas, and they're right there at Hull Bay. They have a chef on property, a farm as well. So you get some of that farm to table experience at the Hideaway Hull Bay as well. Again, for your clients who like to kind of surround themselves with history, At Home in the Tropics is a good one to suggest to your clients. Only 4 units. It's a B&B. The owners live on property. They too prepare your meals for you and do farm to table because they grow some items on property as well. But you're right in the heart of Charlotte Amalia where all the action is. You can walk to shopping, dining, all that good stuff from At Home in the Tropics. Gallows Point in St. John is right there in Cruz Bay. You have condo style accommodations, pool, workout room. They have a small pebble beach, but again, the draw of St. John is visiting all the different beaches that are in the national park. So just bear that in mind. But you can walk to everything in Cruz Bay from Gallows Point. So all the great dining, shopping, the ferry. You could even walk to the ferry from here as well. So that kind of eliminates the need for a car until you're ready to go check out some of those beaches. Estate Lindholm, also in St. John in Cruz Bay. Beautiful views. It's right at the edge of the national park. It is a B&B as well. So you have breakfast that's served daily at Estate Lindholm. You're not far from Cruz Bay. I mean, it's walking distance, but it's a narrow hill. I've seen people walk it. I don't think I would, but if your clients feel so inclined, they could walk down into Cruz Bay from Estate Lindholm. Seashore Lure is another beautiful property, also in Cruz Bay. Great for a buyout as well. Small property, I believe about 10 or 11 rooms here. No beach, again, because St. John, you want to go and visit all the beautiful beaches. But it looks like Architectural Digest in here. They have a pool, outside kitchen, just a really great property, especially for snowbirds. So if you have clients who are just looking to get out of the winter, this is a good property to suggest. The Waves at Cane Bay, now we're back on St. Croix, another beautiful property, been completely redone, 11 rooms. So again, great for a buyout situation, but very boutique-y. Chic boutique is what I like to call a lot of our properties, especially in St. Croix. That kind of whole vibe is what we have going on, but great restaurant on property, local bar as well, stunning sunsets. So it's really a great property to keep on your list of possibilities. Sandcastle on the beach. I'm not going to say too much, but you can see the sunsets are drop dead gorgeous. But it's a beautiful stretch of beach right there, Frederickstead Beach. I'm going to stop right there because Ted and Chris are really going to give you the rundown when we get to them. The King Christian Hotel right in town. So again, this is for folks who want to be walking distance to all the dining and the shopping, close to all the excursions and all that stuff, but also been completely redone. And it's a great property to suggest also for families because I do believe they have some 3-bedroom units here as well. So beautiful pool and just a lot of great dining all around King Christian. Livongo. So I mentioned that Water Island is affectionately known as the 4th U.S. Virgin Islands, but we have hundreds of keys all throughout the USVI, and Livongo is one of them. So if you have clients who are looking to kind of raise it up a little bit, this is an option for them. You do ferry out to Livongo. They do pick you up from St. Thomas and St. John. So this is kind of a more glamping, high-end glamping type situation here at Livongo. It's very unique, very chic, and it's something that if you have clients who are open to the thought of glamping in the Caribbean, it's something that they probably really would enjoy. Another new property in St. John is Wharfside Village, right in Cruz Bay again. 15 rooms, beautifully done, European style decor. Again, you can walk to everything from here. They do have a small beach right in front of the property as well. It's kind of where the ferries are coming in. But again, this is not where you want to spend all of your beach time. You want to head out to Cinnamon Bay, Trunk Bay, Honeymoon. You want to visit all those other beautiful beaches on St. John. We do have lots of villa product throughout the U.S. Virgin Islands as well. So if that is something your clients are interested in, we have no shortage of that. Village of Distinction is a good one to use. Wimco Villas, tons of local villa companies as well. So if you need some assistance there, just, shout out to me. I'd be happy to give you some additional information. Yachting and sailing, this is a part of our market that really exploded during COVID. So if you're not familiar with doing a crude yacht or a bareboat charter, bareboating just simply means you're captaining the ship and it's just you and whoever else is on there, and you're just sailing the vessel all throughout the U.S. Virgin Islands. But crude yacht vacation is where it comes with the captain, the chef, all your meals, your alcohol. That's the way we want a vacation. So sailing throughout the Caribbean is really the best way to experience it. It's one thing to drive up to a beach. It's a totally different experience to sail up to one. And then, again, we have hundreds of uninhabited keys just on the U.S. side. So you never have to leave the U.S. waters to have a superior sailing experience. So if you are interested in learning more, I'd be happy to connect you with some charter yacht brokers that have commissionable rates, and you can certainly explore that as an option for your clients for their future vacation. Lastly, I want to encourage everyone to become a USVI specialist. We have 3 different disciplines. We have general leisure, multi-generational, and we also have romance as well. So those are 3 different niche markets. If you're familiar with all 3 in terms of what you sell, or only 1 or 2, just feel free to take the course. This is the best way to get on a FAM, because I've seen questions about FAMs. So you have to become a specialist before we bring you down on a FAM. And if you've already been booking the U.S. Virgin Islands, we say thank you, thank you, thank you. We just launched our USVI rewards program, and I've seen several bookings come through from tons of agents. So we have great prizes here, and we have more than this available. So if you have a booking that's at least 2 years old, you can go back that far and register that one. But only 1 old booking is allowed. Then from there on, you have to do all new bookings, future bookings. So it's a great program. We have hotel stays available as well. So make sure you do take advantage of that. Here's some links. I always get asked about social media and things you can share on your channels. So all the videos you can find on our YouTube channel, visit USVI. So if you're interested in sharing any of these on your socials, here's all of the different ways you can find us and have some shareable content that you can use. And then here's my contact information for anyone who needs to get in touch. But again, you should have my email already. Following me on Facebook is a great way to keep up with new things going on. I am K Kitchens, DOS USVI. So just send me a friend request or just follow me, and you can keep up with all the new things we have going on in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So I'm going to now turn it over to Chris and Ted to share with you guys about Sandcastle on the Beach.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for taking the time to spend a little time with us so we can share with you what our passion is here in St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands. And we're going to start our slide presentation and go from there.
I can pull it up on this end too if you need me to. There you go.
All right. Thank you, Craig.
Sure.
So my name is Chris Richardson. This is my partner, Ted Bedwell. Ted and I fell in love with St. Croix. I guess it's been 25 years ago now. We came as guests actually to the hotel we now own for 18 years in a row. That's sort of something that's significant and special about St. Croix. People find a certain magic about it, and they keep coming back as we did. And of course, then we loved it so much that we decided to make it our home. So we'd like to just share some interesting highlights about St. Croix itself and then about our hotel. And we welcome any questions at the end. So we'll take off from here. We are located in the far west side of the island, as you can see, as pointed out there. That being said, St. Croix is one of the larger islands, so we do recommend your guests to get a car, to do a car rental, and we're happy to help guide you to some of our favorite rental businesses, just so that they can really see the entire island. We're as far west as you can go. The easternmost point of the United States, Point Udall, which we'll touch on again in a moment, is very special to see, and there's lots of places in between.
So we're just outside of the city of Frederickstead, which is the smaller of the two cities on the island. We're very quiet and quaint here. This is where the pier is, where the cruise ships will be docking when they are visiting the island.
The pier is kind of a special place. It has actually become home to a lot of really interesting sea critters, such as sea turtles, seahorses. We see a lot of stingrays there. It's just an incredible dive. It's great for snorkeling. And that is about a mile from our hotel. You can actually see it from the hotel. Just as Ted stated, cruise ship's port here. We do have one of the forts is located here in Frederickstead, called Fort Frederick. It is an interesting excursion, if you will, so you can go and check it out. And it, like Kay was mentioning earlier, St. Croix itself is very much like a museum, and you're going to find places like Fort Frederick to go and explore. The small downtown. I'm going to get into just a few attractions. We'll be brief about this since Kay has covered quite a bit of that. But we just want to speak about Buck Island. It's really truly is a national treasure. It's just a beautiful day excursion. You go out on a boat. We're happy to help get you with one of the tour operators that will take your guests out there and spend the day at Buck Island doing some snorkeling and there on the beach. It's really, really quite beautiful. And that is off the coast of Christiansted, which is on the other side of the island from us. So about a 30-minute drive from our side of the island. As I was touching on earlier, one of the things that drew us here, I'm an avid diver, and what was one of the things that really drew us to St. Croix when we first came, the diving is just spectacular. The beach that we are located on, it's one of the top swimming and snorkeling beaches on St. Croix just because of how calm it is. It's more like we're living on a bay as opposed to the ocean. We have experienced a few big waves here in the past week due to some of the storms that come in from up north. We tend to get some wave action from that. However, for the most part, you'll just be stunned by how calm it is. And you can just go out in this crystal clear water, stick your face in the water and see some really beautiful things. This is a little shot of the pier dive. There's some great night diving here. So if any of your guests are interested in diving, we have some terrific dive shops that are the staff at all of the dive shops. So often we get asked which is our favorite. To be very honest, we have some really great people at all of our dive shops. So it would be hard for us to recommend just one because we really do have some terrific operators. One of the fun things that the West Side also offers is an ATV tour with Gecko Tours. You get on a four-wheeler and get a tour of the rainforest and some of the beach areas. It actually goes to a couple of the old sugar mills. So there's some history involved on this tour as well. It's a lot of fun. It's more fun even if it's rained a little. You can get a little muddy. You want to talk about them?
Cruising Cowgirls, horseback riding. These are all horses that have been saved, and they have rehabilitated them, and it's just an amazing experience. It goes right up into the foot of the rainforest and then back down, and you get your ride on the beach. It's just a great half-a-day experience. And, of course, Cruise and Rum. Where would we be without Cruise and Rum? It's an amazing place. They're just amazing community citizens as well. They really give back to the community, and it's a quality product as well.
Unfortunately, right now, Cruise and Rum has not started their tours back up. We're hoping that will be sometime this year. But it is our understanding that the other rum distillery, Captain Morgan, which is also done here on St. Croix, it does have its its tour open and available to guests. And then we come to our little piece of paradise, Sandcastle on the Beach. And we're going to play just a little video for you guys. Just a little taste there for everyone of how beautiful the area, the island is. And there we go. All right, we are back in business. So we'd like to talk a little bit about our hotel and its features. So we're going to go right along. We are an adult-only and inclusive atmosphere, meaning that, yes, historically, Sandcastle on the Beach has been gay-owned and operated since the late 1960s. However, we are definitely open to everyone that wants to have an experience of community and positive, affirming for everyone that comes and visits. Our hotel, we have 26 rooms. We offer in that 26 rooms 10 different room types, and that is a lot. We do encourage you to go onto our website, www.sandcastleonthebeach.com, so that you can look at the virtual tours of each room type. We've taken the time to put 360-degree tours on there so that you can go in and check out so that you can be sure and tailor exactly what your client will be experiencing. We like to be very transparent. We want everyone to know exactly what they're getting when they come onto the property. So we have two pools. This is the beachfront seaside pool. The sunsets are just incomparable on our side. They really are spectacular. And we just had, day before yesterday, this incredible cloud formation that was just unbelievable. So we'd like to talk a little bit about those room types that we touched on. So these rooms are located, if you saw I know it was probably just hard to tell, but there's a small street that goes in between our property. And so these are called the courtyard rooms, located across the street from the main building. There is a pool on this side. It's very lush in gardens. It has a real sense of privacy. It's typically more quiet on this side. All rooms on this side of the street do feature queen beds, and two of the rooms on this side, they're a different room type. They also have a full kitchen, as well as a fold-out sleeper sofa, so it can accommodate the two courtyard kitchens could accommodate up to 4 people. It's sold for 2 people, but it can accommodate up to 4. The other 4 rooms that are available on this side are sold for 2 people each, and they are, like I said, queen-size beds.
And the pool on this side can be used as a clothing optional pool if guests choose to do so.
That is correct. So, like I said earlier, we have 10 different room types. This was a feature. This one is a king standard. It's a typical hotel room with a king size bed. All of our rooms have at least minimum of a mini fridge, microwave, and coffee maker. in every room. We also offer a continental breakfast to all guests every morning, and we'll get more into that in just a bit. This is because of how many room types we have. We do encourage you to go on our website and really get a sense of what each room offers. Because, for instance, our King Standard rooms, all of our rooms, of course, we are located right on the beach. So your steps from the beach, no matter what room you choose. However, some of our rooms do not offer an ocean view per se, or what have you. But if it's a King Patio, that does offer an ocean view, our sea view suites, and our beachfront villas as well. Fortunately, well, we say fortunately now, Ted and I purchased this property at the end of 2016. And of course, as everyone knows, 9 months later, we had 2 Cat 5 hurricanes. That really was a blessing in disguise. It scared us at the time because we were so young and fresh into owning this business, but it allowed us to really go forward with our renovation plans. It fast-tracked all of that. So fortunately, we are literally in the which is our beachfront villa. We'll get into that in just a moment. All of our rooms have been renovated, which I think that your guests will find that they're very comfortable, and we offer some very nice amenities. Some of our rooms, such as the Seaview Suites, also offer full kitchens.
And they all have a private patio.
So this is the face of our beachfront villas. We have 3 of these. They have been recently completely renovated. You can see literally steps to the beach. You're just basically crossing a few steps of a patio and you're right on the beach. These are 3 of our premier units that offer just anything that you could ever hope for at home, with a full kitchen, even a lovely outdoor shower space, sitting area that's very private. And then we come to our Dolphin Villa. This is going to be a 2-bedroom, 2-bath villa that will offer, that would be great for couples that like to travel together, or people with adult children that want to come. Like we said earlier, we are an adults-only hotel, but it really offers a nice option for people that like to vacation together. All of our rooms, we have a welcome rum punch or fruit punch kit that welcomes your guests upon arrival. We have daily coffee service at our front desk.
From 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
And as well as you do have coffee makers in every room. We do offer a continental breakfast to all of our guests, which does include, as you can see there, locally made breads and baked goods from a little bakery down the street, as well as cheese, hard-boiled eggs, fruit juice, of course, coffee and tea. Our products that we utilize in our rooms, Ted and I feel it's just very important to try to support local businesses. So there's a small shop here in Christiansted that make our shampoos and conditioners, and we're very proud of that. Of course, we offer beach towels, lounge chair covers for our hotel guests only, so that they can really be comfortable out on the beach or around the pool. Also complimentary snorkel gear and kayaks. And we have beach attendants on duty every day that will come out and cater to your guests and make sure that they have that they feel like they're being taken care of. That's truly our goal. Ted and I, when we first purchased the property, our goal really was to try to enhance the guest experience as much as they wanted our involvement. Ted and I do live on the property, so we are heavily involved with our guests as far as just getting to know them. Fortunately, because of the size of our property, that's something that we are able to do, and to be very involved and to be very hands-on with their experience.
And another thing that we're extremely proud of is our staff. We have been able to put together what I would rival any other staff on any island anywhere. Everyone really cares, and they really want to make sure that the guest has the best possible experience.
Very true. We're very blessed to have an incredible staff.
We also offer on Tuesdays right now, it's an on-site tri-dive. It's complimentary, and we can probably set it up on other dates if we have advance notice. The dive shops are very, very generous in giving their time and their expertise to come out to the pool and allow people this experience.
We fortunately have excellent high-speed internet service, which I know is so important these days to stay connected. So be sure and let your guests know that we will do everything we can to make sure they are connected.
We do have on-site parking. The office closes at 9 in the evening, and we do have security on property up until the office opens the next morning. And then our best amenity.
We are so blessed to have this beautiful beach in front of us, you guys. It is just simply spectacular. It is so calm. The sand is really beautiful. It's just, in my opinion, unrivaled as far as just being able to walk into the water, and if you're a snorkeler, to put your face in the water and start seeing some beautiful things. We also have a lot of sea glass on our beaches, and where people will just spend hours and hours spending the day away collecting sea glass. We have amazing sunsets, as we talked about, really incredible rainbows. You know, typically it will do a gentle rain. It's typical to see it daily, depending on the time of year. But I think that people ask us, when is your rainy season? I don't necessarily know that we have a really traditional rainy season. It comes and goes, but it's always really spectacular and doesn't last for very long. We do have an on-site restaurant called the Beachside Cafe that offers lunch daily, 7 days a week, or actually I should say 5 days a week for lunch. And on Saturdays and Sundays, we have brunch from 10 to 3. We have daily 7 days a week dinner service as well.
And it's more of an elevated beach menu. We try to do as much local fish as we can. And all of our cooks are from St. Croix, which we're very proud of that as well. So you get that local flavor. And our brunch is big. We do a lot of craft cocktails made with local juices, but another thing that we're very proud of is we have a large mocktail list. We think it's important for everybody to be able to be part of the party. So we want those people who do not partake in alcoholic beverages to be able to also be part of the fun.
We are very fortunate that we have beach servers that will cater to the beach and the pool. We do special events and beach weddings depending on the size. Again, we are a small property, so if you have any of your guests that are looking for a small, intimate wedding or gathering of some sort, please reach out to Ted. He is the one that really organizes that type of thing. And we can put them in, of course, touch with wedding officiants and other planners. We're happy to help with island excursions and the like.
Our front desk staff has all been here for several years, so they're familiar with everything there is to do on the island and can help you with any type of organization.
One thing that we do offer one thing that Ted and I really appreciated when we were coming to our hotel as guests for many years is that we allow day passes, and we do have beach club memberships for people that live here, day passes for people that live here or are visiting and staying at other properties, so that they can come and really enjoy our beach. Now, that being said, we are very aware of the hotel guests. That is our number one priority. However, people enjoy interacting with other people, particularly people that live here or are from here, because it gives people that sense. A lot of time they have questions about what is what's it like to live here, and so on and so forth. So it really gives them an opportunity to interact with people from here. And there we are. So again, we have the virtual tours. We do encourage you to take a look at that. There's a tour of the resort itself, as well as all the room types. And we encourage you to, please reach out to us. We are always happy to take, if you want to email us. I'm Chris at sandcastleonthebeach.com. Ted is Ted at sandcastleonthebeach.com. Feel free to email us or to call directly, and we will try to help take care of any questions that you have.
Thank you guys so much. We have a couple of questions here. And some you may have answered, but maybe you want to go a little deeper.
Sure.
Got a question about, is the property all-inclusive?
We are not an all-inclusive property. The only all-inclusive property on St. Croix is the Divi Carina Casino and Hotel. So we get that question often. In one of the slides, I know that it said inclusive. What we meant by that is not that the hotel is all-inclusive, but that we are inclusive of all walks of life.
Anybody with a positive vibe is more than welcome to come.
Several people have asked about passports. So just to reiterate, the U.S. Virgin Islands, so this includes St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John, Water Island, Livongo, Congo, all the islands. U.S. citizens do not need a passport to come to the U.S. Virgin Islands. So if you have clients, and I saw a couple of agents saying they just got inquiries for people looking for travel who don't have passports, they don't need a passport to come to the USVI. So feel free to come to us without having to worry about a passport.
That being said, Kay, I would like to interject to this just to make sure that everyone is aware. When you are booking, particularly flights for your clients, make sure that you are directing them to the airport on that specific island. We have just recently a couple of guests were put into St. Croix. I don't know if
into St. Thomas.
Into St. Thomas. They flew into St. Thomas. They called us and said, "How do we get there?" And we're like, "Where are you?" And they're in St. Thomas. And then they had to go through either coming over on a ferry or getting an additional flight on Cape Air or the seaplane. So we just, which can be frustrating. And the last thing we want is for anyone to be frustrated when they're trying to get on their vacation. They're excited. We want them to get here and get their cocktail and get out on the beach as soon as possible.
Well, Chris, it sounds like they didn't use a travel agent.
Well, isn't that?
That's shame on them.
I agree.
We agree.
But just so everybody knows, St. Croix airport code is STX. And then St. Thomas's airport code is STT. But I know these are seasoned travel agents that are on here with me. So they know that. But that is a good point. That is a good point. Here's a question. I'm assuming it's asking about tour operators, how they can book you.
Actually, we prefer tour operators to book direct with us, and we're happy to, we like to get paid as soon as we offer a service, and we know you do too. So as soon as you're able to invoice us, then we take care of you.
Okay. Miss Paula, and she's fammed with me and she's toured your property. And I guess because you mentioned you're a diver, because I don't have the answer to this question, at least not on St. Croix. Where is the nearest hyperbaric chamber for divers on St. Croix?
There is a hyperbaric chamber located mid-island. I know this just because from experience, we did have a guest that had to go and utilize that and had a terrific experience, actually. There also are, if there was some sort of emergency, there are planes that will take people off island. There's several different, there's like Aero MD, Masa, several different ones that if there is some sort of emergency, they can be airlifted off.
And that's a great plug for making sure that, especially your divers, they book travel insurance.
Absolutely.
To make sure that they are covered. So I have a little bit of a cheeky bunch here. Somebody is inquiring about the clothing optional pool.
Sure,
So
sure.
let's get into it.
All right. So it's the pool. It's fenced in. It's on the side opposite of the beach. It is clothing optional. It is not sexual optional. It's just a clothing optional pool. We past history, of course, with St. Croix being a Danish island, and a lot of Danes are a little more free than Americans than we were raised. And so you'll see some toplessness and different things over here occasionally. I wouldn't say it's used daily or weekly, to be honest with you, but it is an option for some guests that is very important, and they enjoy having that private area that's fenced in to where they can come over and just relax.
That being said, this side of the pool, this is open and available to all guests. We want to be, again, 100% transparent so that everyone knows what they're going to get. It's like Ted said, it's rarely used as clothing optional, but there are some guests that find that. We've had a few that were so excited about that experience. That was something that they really wanted to explore for themselves. So it's just an option that we have available.
And staying on the topic of the pool, Miss Pamela wants to know, is the courtyard pool only for those guests that are staying in those rooms?
No, that is for all of our hotel guests and day pass holders that come and join us.
And I'm not sure if it's a Mr. or Miss, I'm sorry, but Barty is asking about your prices. Is it per room night?
Yes.
Okay. You have an agent on her way down to you. She has a booking, Miss Amy, next week to you. She says it's a king studio, but I'm not seeing that listed as a room category. Can you advise what that equates to?
So, Craig, do you know what would be listed as the king studio?
Probably a king standard.
Yeah. Probably a king standard, which would not have a viewing patio or an eating patio. If you'd like, you can call. I'm not sure how. Do you know how she would have seen that as a king studio?
Well, some of the third-party booking engines don't allow you to name your own rooms because they're translated into different languages. So there are only certain room names that you can choose from, and we try and match them up as best we can.
Okay.
Give us a call, Amy, and we'll pull that room up and go into detail with you. And that way we can make sure that we have everything ready for you. We're excited that you're coming down.
Perfect. Miss Paul is asking if yogurt is also included in the breakfast.
It is not included in our breakfast.
One of the challenges on the island is staying consistent. One of the things that we can stay consistent with is Nacho Bakery, who we use. We have 3 different baked goods from them each day, and we know that Nacho's people are going to come through with that. With fruit, if we have anything that is on our trees, we pick it and we put it there. But for sure, we're going to have oranges and apples because we know that we can get those every day through our vendors as well. So we try to stay consistent and try to have things that don't expire quickly, because everything is basically shipped onto the island.
And since we're on the topic of food, can we just kind of go over the dining options on property again?
Yes. So Saturdays and Sundays, we offer a very popular brunch from 10 until 3. And then we take a break to switch over the kitchen to dinner from 4:30 until 8:30. And then Monday through Friday, we have lunch from 11 to 3. And then from 4:30 till 8:30, we have dinner nightly. Now, like Ted had mentioned earlier, our menu, and of course you can go onto our website and view the menus. Those are updated menus on the website. We try to do it like an elevated beach service, meaning, we think we're pretty proud of our burger and so forth. We try to have seafood options, shrimp baskets, and mahi. Anytime we can get local fish, we would like to feature that because That's something that I like to do when I'm on vacation. I want to experience what came out of the water in front of us there.
Right.
So we try to cater to that. However, we are not a fine dining experience. However, we really, our location is right on the beach. The views are spectacular. So you're really going to enjoy dining with us. It's just going to be, we offer a menu for the beach that's going to be what I call beach grub, where you're going to burgers, fries, that type of thing.
Mahi bites.
Yes.
And we do.
But oftentimes those are the best meals.
That's
Absolutely.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
And we do try to have a steak special every night as well.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Ms. Dawn is asking the cost of a day pass. Can a client that is staying in St. Thomas come and do a day pass at the resort?
They could. It would be, they'd have to fly over, because if they took the ferry, they wouldn't have enough time to get here and then get back. They'd have to overnight. But absolutely, on cruise ship days, we bring in extra staff, as well as we give a free drink and different things. So it's a little more expensive on a cruise ship day, but on a regular day, it's $15 a person.
Ms. Janet is asking me about same-sex weddings. They are legal in the USVI. So
Yes,
come one,
that is
come
correct.
all. This is a great property to do one of those same-sex weddings. So if your wheels are turning, Ms. Janet, let us know how we can help you put it together. Because yes, we are all inclusive in that regard.
There you go.
Chris and Ted said. Now, Ms. Nancy, which is really kind of the more popular option opposed to what Ms. Dawn asked, day passes for cruise line guests.
Absolutely.
Right. We do offer a day pass for cruise ship, but again, we limit that just because we don't want to overwhelm our hotel guest experience. So we do limit our day passes to 20 day passes per day. It's first come, first serve. We do not take reservations for day passes. And so because of our proximity to the pier for cruise ship, where the cruise ships dock, we begin selling day passes at 9 a.m. And those are on cruise ship day, $40 per person.
Well, we kind of discussed coming in, and since Miss Juliana is talking about brunch, saying it's she lives in St. Croix, and she's giving you kudos, saying you do an amazing job, and it's one of her favorite places to brunch. So maybe we could talk about a little special feature that you guys do for brunch that I love. I've got to come down and get some of this. Go ahead.
So we're very blessed to have some great friends, and they're called the Fly Queens. And they're flight attendants for major airlines around the United States. And they come in. We try to do it quarterly when we can work it in. And we have drag brunch. And this past time, we actually had a dinner cabaret, which was also very successful on Friday night. And then on Sunday, we did 2 shows during brunch. And it's just fun. And it's something different and out of the box. And they're fantastic entertainers that have just fallen in love with St. Croix. So they kind of, fight to get to be on the cast so they can come down here for a few days, because
they love the energy.
The vibe, not like no other, is just truly true for St. Croix. We are just a different place. Things are a little different here, and we're protected by a bubble in which, things happen in the States, and then maybe 8 months later, we kind of see it here or something. It's just a special place. And that's why we really are proud to push other things on the island, because anybody can go to a beautiful beach, but you can't come to an island and find necessarily cultural activities and the culture that the Crucian people roll out for people. It's truly, truly a rewarding and an interesting, beautiful society that we have here.
Wonderful.
Something else too, that again, being transparent, Frederickstead is we call it the sleepier side. So we really, when guests call us to talk about what is offered, if you're looking for a lot of nightlife and so forth, it's probably really not the spot for that type of guest. While they can come and create their own fun and have fun, and of course you see our beaches and so forth, they're going to have an incredible experience. But we don't want anyone to be disappointed by thinking that there's going to be a big nightclub to go to or something like that. It tends to be sleepier at night, beautiful, and there are some beautiful things to see and do, but it's going to be a more chill, laid-back experience.
There you go, very chill. Miss Angie is asking, do you offer airport transfers?
Unfortunately, we are not allowed to do that. The Cab Association is very strong on St. Croix. So we would, at the baggage claim area, Mr. Vernon and several other cab drivers are very good at bringing people to us.
We're about 15 minutes away from the airport, so it's a rather short drive from the airport to our property. Again, I really do strongly recommend that people rent a car. There's several options on St. Croix to do car rental. Some options will even, you can either get your car at the airport, or if you would rather, there are a couple of options that will bring the car to you here at the hotel. But there's a lot to see and do. And because we are not allowed to have a van to take people around to do anything, you will have to get a taxi in order to go and see and do anything like that. We feel that it's easier on the guests to go ahead and rent a car. Tell them that not to be afraid of driving on the other side. It comes very naturally.
And St. Croix, out of the 3 islands, is the easiest one to drive on. It's not as hilly as St. Thomas and St. John. So no worries there. Question about handicap accessibility from Miss Gloria.
So when we bought the property, there were lots of steps and lots of ups and downs and so forth. So there are still a couple of exceptions, but we have tried to level everything out so that anyone that may be mobilely challenged can come and enjoy our property. We do not have a way for someone, for instance, in a wheelchair to be rolled onto the beach. But we are right there that, we can get them as close on our pool deck. We've taken away most steps in most areas so that they can easily get around if anyone is having difficulties with mobility through our restaurant and throughout the hotel. Also, our 3 beachfront villas are all handicap accessible or ADA compliant, as far as with large showers that people can roll a wheelchair into. We put the beds at a certain height so that people would be able to transfer into a bed easily. So we really did try to, as much as the design of this building that was built in the 60s would allow, we've tried to go back and smooth out some of the areas that were a little more difficult to navigate.
Somebody here is also asking about, you mentioned your sea glass. So want to know, can they bring back any sea glass or seashells?
So you can bring back sea glass. However, you are not allowed to bring back anything that the sea produces, such as seashells, sea fans, and so forth.
Very good. I think that's about it. Do you still offer the dress up headdresses? Okay, maybe this is Neil Miller here in Atlanta. He sounds like he's familiar with your property. He's asking, do you still offer the dress up headdresses on special days like we did when we were there on the RSVP and Atlantis cruises?
We'll drag them out.
If you really want to wear one, we'll find one for you to wear.
We'll drag it out. Come on down.
Well, guys, this was a really good session. Thank you guys, both of you, so very much. You've always been so open and welcoming and just great partners to have in the USVI. So anything I can do to get more people to come visit Sandcastle, I'm definitely down for. And again, just appreciate your partnership, and I appreciate all of you agents joining us today. Again, I'm going to be sending this recording out, so if you missed anything, no worries. Someone did ask for those social media handles, so that's why I put those links back up, so they are there for you. If you didn't take a screenshot before, feel free to take one now, but you will get this so you can keep it with you. And we'll have more webinars next week, a couple of really good vendors, several good vendors coming up. So stay tuned for those invites, and y'all enjoy the rest of your day in St. Croix, where it's nice and warm. I'm freezing in Atlanta today.
Kay, we would like to also say how grateful we are for all that you do. Thank you for putting things like this together for us to give more exposure to your travel agents. We really do appreciate it. Travel agents, please feel free to call us. We really do want to help make your job easier in putting your guests into a really beautiful vacation. So don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Awesome.
Thank you all.
Take them up on it, guys, because they're very helpful. So anything you need, just give them a call. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.